funny. I have waited
Just shut the fuck up and do it already.
After watching the second episode of HBO's The Last of Us Season 2, I'm a little sad, but not for the reason everyone is, and I want to talk about it. The engine of Ellie's and Abby's journey through the world of The Last of Us is fueled by their pursuit of justice, then unpacking, examining, and overcoming the hatred that pushed them to the edge of destruction. And we play a huge part in it, not just because we are controlling the characters, although that's a big reason, but because the story makes us an emotionally active participant in it as a consequence of its narrative structure.
The whole catalyst for what starts the second game is Joel killing the doctor.
No!
That feeds right back in that idea of that cycle of violence. Now it sets up this whole kind of sequence of events. We're going to start the game where you're playing a new character. That sequence ends with this character killing Joel. And we really have to paint her as this monster. Then when you play the next chunk of the game and you're Ellie and you're going to pursue justice, quote unquote, and you're going to go kill this entire crew, we're going to go back in time and show you that same sequence of events, this character that you saw as a monster, to now get you to see things from her perspective. And how this crew is a bunch of people trying to survive in this world. And they have their reasons for pursuing and finding Joel and killing him.
That's a tall order, because what Neil is asking of us is to try to understand the person we hate the most. You need to be fearless to ask something like this. You can't be afraid of disapproval, because it would be inevitable. And the game is not. It takes us on that journey of hatred evolving into empathy without pulling any punches, without making the story palatable for us. This is why this game received such extremely passionate responses from anyone who played it through. For people who weren't able to empathize with Abby, the game failed and they hated it.
I don't want to play as fucking her! Ellie, kill her! Kill the bitch! Kill her!
But for those who were able to empathize with their enemy,
oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
It became a special experience beyond just being emotionally affecting.
There's like no way to play that game or watch that story and step back and be like, that had nothing to do with me, because you feel like it's like elicits something in you.
You know what would have been a simpler way to structure this story with a greater mass appeal and less risk of losing people? Humanizing Abby before she kills Joel. It would still be a story about hate and revenge and empathy, but you wouldn't be an emotionally active participant in it. You didn't hate Abby like Ellie did. You didn't want her dead. You didn't have to examine your hatred because it wasn't even there to begin with. And at the end of the story, you could have said, this had nothing to do with me, even if you were the one controlling those characters. Well, this is exactly where the HBO's adaptation is heading. Listen, I know it's a TV show meant to be seen in fits and starts over the years, and I understand it's unreasonable to ask the creators to follow the game's structure one-to-one. So they have to show some of Abby's humanity to the viewer and at least hint at the idea that she has her reasons for killing Joel. The crucial word here is hint, because in an ideal world, I would still want the viewers to truly hate the guts of Abby and her friends after they murder Joel. Then, as Ellie brings hell on earth on her pursuit for justice in Seattle, which gives audience time to think about things, and which makes the story poised for Abby's perspective, show us Abby having nightmares about her father's brain matter splattered on the floor. Show us how much in pain she is, and how her friends are shaken by the way Abby tortured Joel. Why is this structure so important? Because the story grapples with themes like how isolating oneself into a singular perspective can lead to blind hatred and destruction, how it's intensified by the dark underbelly of tribalism, and how the answer to all this pain might just be empathy. Wouldn't seeing Abby suffering because of what Joel took from her be so much more emotionally distressing, dissonant, and visceral exactly because we hate her? Still hating her, then seeing how lost she is after losing her father. Wouldn't it resonate so much more with the dissonance of Abby becoming more human before our eyes and Ellie slowly losing her humanity?
They got what they deserved.
But she gets to live.
The show answers no. Again and again and again. And perhaps that's the artistic intent of this adaptation. We are not supposed to hate Abby. We are simply here to observe Ellie hate Abby, which is fine for most stories, but not for this one. Not the story that was so relentlessly unafraid to make us feel uncomfortable. This is why I am sad. If the game didn't exist, I would be fine. But it does, and I know at its core what the story wants to say. And I'm sad to see it watered down into a much softer and palatable rendition of what once was an uncompromising piece of fiction.
We want him to die in this really unforgiving sort of way. Like, it needs to feel senseless for you to say, fuck these people, I'm gonna pursue them to the ends of the earth and make them pay.
But maybe I shouldn't be. Maybe I should be excited by the fact that the game will stand as a wholly unique experience and that the show is trying out something new. Maybe I should appreciate it for not restricting itself to the source material like it didn't in the first season with Bill and Frank and broke all our hearts into pieces. Because that's what this story is about. Learning to understand the other, and in my case, understanding the creative choices made for the show. I want the show to make me eat my words by proving me wrong by the end of this season. Because even after taking a more empathetic view, I still believe that the essence of the story of The Last of Us Part 2 is lost in translation.